real way to see what's going on inside an atom like neon when it absorbs or gives off light. But there are a few different models that tell the story. The easiest model ignores the atom altogether and just looks at the energy of its electrons. Electrons in an atom can only exist at certain energy levels. A photon of green light has exactly the same amount of energy as the gap between two energy levels in neon. So when a green photon hits an electron at the lower energy level, the electron absorbs the photon and instantly has the energy of a higher level. After a fraction of a second, the electron jumps down to a lower energy level, giving off the energy difference as a photon of orange light. The models that try to show the atom aren't very accurate. The 100-year-old Bohr model is easy to draw, but electrons aren't really particles in rings around the nucleus. Each electron exists as waves. They're in a bunch of places at the same time, and they overlap. So the electron density model is our most realistic image of what an atom looks like. It's just harder to draw on a blackboard. When a beam of light hits a piece of glass straight on, it passes right through it. But the waves that make up the light actually get slowed down by the glass and only go back to their normal speed when they come out the other side. That slowing down is what causes white light to split into a rainbow of colour whenever it hits glass on an angle. It happens because glass slows some colours of light more than others, and because slowing down on an angle makes light bend. It's easy to understand the bending if you picture how the light waves would look from above, like how waves at the beach look if you see them from the air. And while white light's made up of all the different colours of light, it also helps to look at them one colour at a time. When a wave front of red light hits glass on an angle, the part of the wave that enters the glass first gets slowed down before the rest, and that changes the angle of the whole wave, like how waves bend around a cliff. Violet light gets slowed down even more by glass, so its waves bend more. All the other colours get bent somewhere in between. So the colours get separated when they first enter the glass on an angle, and they spread out even more when they speed up on an angle as they leave. The reason the different colours slow down different amounts in glass is because they've got different wavelengths. Red light has the longest wavelength, followed by orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and finally violet with the shortest wavelength. And the shorter the wavelength, the longer it takes to travel through glass. That's because light interacts with electrons in the molecules that make up glass. Long wavelength light, like red, only interacts a bit with the electrons, so it doesn't get slowed much. But shorter wavelength violet light interacts more, so it gets slowed down more. So it's the combination of hitting glass on an angle and different wavelengths interacting with the electrons in the glass different amounts that makes light hitting a prism spread out into a beautiful spectrum of colour and some classic album cover art.
The light that we can see is confined to a narrow band of electromagnetic radiation, just a tiny portion the satellite can pick up. Electromagnetic radiation spans a spectrum that goes far beyond the familiar colors of the rainbow.
If you were to consider the full spectrum,
this, niggas bless this.
Everything within this 3D space is divided light and therefore is energy. As light passes through a crystal, it is refracted into a rainbow. This is the origin of the term Christ. Divided light is a rainbow. Everything physical is formed from this rainbow in some form or another. Everything, from the tiniest subatomic particle to the galaxies above, is made of bits of the rainbow. The rainbow canopy of light that surrounds our true awareness has seduced us into accepting the illusion as the real deal. This is the sacred geometry, or sexual geometry, that holds the conjured-up illusion intact. Without this mathematical wizardry, nothing would appear as three-dimensional. Now, this is where the information on this documentary starts to go in all directions. I could not possibly explain everything in 7 video presentations, which are already quite long.
It overwhelms
Arm
everything else
yourselves
that's
with this
in the
info to
desktop
stop the
space.
coming devastation
Which is a
and
pretty
create a
good way to
better
introduce the
reality
idea of a
by
holographic
changing
environment.
your outlook on the material world. More information on
This is a
www.the
hologram in full screen mode, so I don't see the rest of my desktop.
Subliminal messages
The rest of my
shape
desktop being
and
the
control
environment that
our
I'm actually
reality.
in.
Subliminal. A subliminal is a message that does not rise above conscious threshold. A subliminal is designed
Into the world of radio waves. Radio waves cover a huge stretch of the spectrum, from wavelengths of 1 meter or so to radiation with wavelengths of over 100,000